All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And we're talking about something very near and dear to Cody's heart, of deep spiritual, metaphysical, financial, and electoral importance, none other than the status of online poker and the freedoms associated therein. Cody, what is going on?
All right, well, first of all, full disclosure, I've never gambled $1 on poker, online or otherwise. However, no, seriously, I never have.
Online?
Never online.
Okay.
Poker's not my game. Anyway, so Andrew Yang has been causing a stir in the poker community lately, and he came mostly with this tweet, and there's a couple things he said about it. First of all, though, he had a tweet that came out and says, online poker is legal in 4 states. The state-by-state rules are variable and push many players to offshore sites. We should clarify the rules and make it legal in all 50 states. U.S. players and companies would benefit, and new tax revenues could be used to mitigate addiction. Now, like many people, you probably read that and said, okay, that's interesting. That's neat. I didn't know online poker was legal in even 4 states. I thought it was legal in every state, right? However, this is causing quite a stir in the gambling or the online poker community. So I want to take a little bit of a look at that and then take a tiny peek at kind of what he's talking about here, a little more context to that. And just once again, I wanted to highlight this. It's not about you, Cardin, but it feels like every few weeks we do a video about some other group of people. All of a sudden, Yang's politically activated for him.
Well, first it was the UFC people. Like, remember how it kind of just like blared out that,
UFC,
he wants to unionize the UFC, and
NCAA?
There's all these UFC people, and then there was the NCAA athletes,
professional wrestlers,
pro wrestlers,
NBA players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening. And now we're seeing with poker players. So I want to show a couple things here. First of all, I guess the first thing we'll talk about, what exactly is it he is talking about here? So let me see if I can find, is this the article talking about? So here we go. So there's a couple of really famous things that happen in the poker community. I am not super up to date. They're really interesting stories, but there's here we go. There's a story of a website called Absolute Poker. Some people might be familiar with the name Absolute Poker. It sounds familiar to me. I have no idea why. Anyway, it says Absolute Poker was created in 2003 by a group of University of Montana fraternity brothers who had no gaming experience. They moved the company to Costa Rica, where the site could operate without a gaming license. In exchange for providing internet service to Costa Rican companies, furnished gambling sites with their gambling licenses. So, whenever you're trading internet access for your license for, it's starting to sound a little bit shady, right? So while other competitors left the U.S. market after a act that was passed, Absolute Poker remained and became a legitimate contender in the market despite its rudimentary software. When Absolute Poker merged with Ultimate Bet, the software received a much-needed overhaul. Okay.
All right.
However, in September 2007, members of the Absolute Poker community levied accusations of cheating in numerous internet forums. Specifically, they cited suspicious results of a particular account during a tournament, claiming that this account was able to see other players' hole cards, meaning the cards you're not supposed to see, they're face-down cards.
Oh, yeah.
By October, news of the alleged super user account spurred an investigation by the KGC. Anyway, long story short, that was the case, and I believe do they have the actual numbers here? I believe over $1 million was paid out to players. The commission fined the company $1.5 million and let them continue to operate. Which is hilarious to me. I want to once again highlight that. It was found that, yes, indeed, there are players playing on our platform that could see your cards, but as long as they pay us $1.5 million, they could stay open. I'm sure it's a much deeper story. People are going to talk about how much I missed here. But, again, I wanted to highlight there is reason Yang would bring this up. Once again, I underestimated it, though, because I know a little bit of online poker and just in general stuff. I never played it, but I know it exists. This really hit her. I mean, I was doing some research online. Basically, every gambling website I could find had written an article about this. I mean, here we have the Online Poker Report. Presidential candidate Andrew Yang voiced
this caused a big-time
stir,
poker. Man.
But I'm just saying, it really struck a nerve, and I was trying to get an idea of why I was going through. This is, by the way, the reason why I want to bring this one up. You want to hear a line from OnlinePokerReport.com? Listen to this. Poker is a thread that has historically stitched the fabric of Americana together, perhaps the country's second favorite pastime behind baseball. Yet, as the candidate points out, only a fraction of states have legal online poker today.
You could say that about anything. You could literally say prostitution.
Hey, sign me up.
Gambling.
Hey, this is about America.
Substance abuse and illicit bootleg moonshine.
Exactly. However, moving on to the next part really quickly.
It's a tradition that has held America together almost as much as baseball.
I know, what a line, right? But anyway, so one of the more famous poker players out there, Daniel Negreanu, he has voiced his opinion loudly being a member of the Yang Gang for a while now. And then there's a guy, now I'm vaguely familiar with this individual. There was another poker cheating related scandal that was going on recently that this guy was put on my radar for. Anyway, he seems like a pretty decent enough guy, but his name is Joey Ingram, and he does a fairly large YouTube channel and podcast about poker on YouTube and online. Anyway, he posted this the other day about that same tweet by Andrew Yang.
My name is Joey Ingram, and I host a popular poker podcast here in
Where's
the
he
poker
from?
world. And I'd like to invite you on my
in
show
Vegas.
to talk about the online poker
about-
tweet that you just made related to how it's only legal in 4 states, and therefore it pushes players to have to play on these offshore sites. And the state of poker for American poker players right now is very, very bad. If you know what you're doing and know what to look out for, you can avoid getting scammed by these offshore sites, by these home games, by these home game clubs you play on your phone where you deposit through a random person who could be located anywhere around the world. These are where people have to go to.
And it keeps
there's no
going on. But yeah, that sounds like a pretty bad situation. And why did I bring this up? Does it just seem, do I have this right here?
Yeah.
Andrew Yang responded. Said, thanks, Joey. Would love to sit down. So it looks like Andrew Yang is going to reach out. So once again, another community that somehow Andrew Yang has got everyone activated and up in arms in about one of his policies. Andrew Yang, and my main thing with this, I was thinking, I think I was talking with Carden.
Uh-huh.
I was like, if there's one issue politically that I could involve myself in and only care about and focus on all the time, it would be consumer protection. Basically, that'd be it.
Yeah.
And I view this as a consumer protection story. So I love him, man. I love the idea. We see Andrew Yang finding, he talks about things people care about. One more thing I want to show. This is just a friend of the show, actually, Cyrus. We met him a couple times now.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the poker player, right?
Yeah, well, he actually asked
Yeah.
Andrew Yang this question, so I just wanted to show, because we had a tweet from Andrew Yang. I just thought it'd be fair to show Andrew Yang actually in the flesh responding to the question. Give me 1 second here. And so, I believe this was a couple days ago up in Northern California. He asked him this.
Legalizing online poker yesterday, and which left the U.S. market in large part because of regulations on transferring money online. So what would online poker look like under a Yang presidency?
So I was in Las Vegas yesterday campaigning, and a professional poker player, maybe someone similar to you, Cyrus, actually came up and said, hey, these rules have gotten completely bizarre. It's forced us all to go offshore. It was put in place by, like this person suggested that it was protecting certain casinos in certain states that then thought they'd get more business.
Yeah.
So to me, it reminded me a little bit of the marijuana laws in the country. Where you have this hodgepodge, like state by state, and it's legal some places and not other places, which ends up creating, in some ways, like the worst of all worlds. And so, to me, we need to clarify the rules, and the best way to clarify them, in my mind, would be to make online poker legal nationwide. And then you'd have some mechanism also to fund gambling addiction programs and things that, you could see, like there might be some negative effects from.
Limited government.
This is an example of what I said before, where like there's a law in the books, but we all know to play online. You're like laughing. It's like if I was in a state where it wasn't legal, like you would just find a way you just go offshore, and then who loses? The player, American businesses,
Americans
and some of these
and
offshore
consumers.
businesses are apparently really shady, and there's no legal recourse if you end up having a problem. So, would love to talk to you, Cyrus, about whether there are specific issues within the legalization of online poker nationwide. But it sounds like things were better before 8 years ago, it was a suggestion. And so we can return to something close to that and then improve on that. That would be my goal.
Okay, cool. So that was Yang's response to that. And then one thing really quickly I want to just bring up, when he was talking about better before 8 years ago, another interesting thing, people aren't familiar too much with the poker community. I wasn't exactly. But there's a moment they refer to as, what is it? He was being about, I believe they refer to it as Black Friday. Yes, there we go. 15th of April, 2011. A couple of the biggest online poker sites were shut down by the DOJ. And I believe, do they have it here? What happened was a lot of people, I guess, allegedly's accounts were still open and they had money in them, and then their account was closed and they lost their money. So millions of people lost money in this. Again, the reason I'm proud of that, just consumer protection stuff, but when he's talking about better before 8 years ago, this is an
as much as I'm a good Christian who eschews the dark arts and the vices of the plebeians. I'm just kidding.
Everyone gambles, though.
I only gambled once. Brittany wanted to try gambling. I was like, babe, you're going to lose money. It's like the house always wins. That's not something you want to start with. And we lost like $40 in like 5 minutes doing the roulette at the Mandalay Bay. And she walked out. She's like, oh, I wanted to win. It was actually really funny.
If you're looking to try gambling, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I've never actually really gambled. Wasn't big into it. Ironically enough, my grandfather was like a World Series of Poker guy.
But I mean, I think
what's crazy. So my dad grew up like boom, knowing all the games and everything. It's actually pretty cool. We can get to that into a different podcast. But I was just gonna say, as much as I don't do it myself, it's never been part of my life. You know, I can't stand prohibition era laws. And you look at what outlawing booze did in the 30s. All it did was not stop it, showing competence for government, create general disrespect for the law, and birth organized crime.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
it
was not a good exercise in good government or good governance. So whatever you think about the pros and cons or the morality of poker, it's just a bad idea to have it outlawed because people are going to be doing it anyway. I know guys here. I actually signed up a customer and I got like 4 or 5 referrals from him. I was like, wow, this guy's like social. He's like, oh yeah, these are my poker buddies. You know what I'm saying? So people are playing, whether it's in real life or whether it's online. Andrew Yang's right. It's like those marijuana laws. Prohibition does not work. Don't try it. You'll waste a lot of ATF, a lot of DEA, a lot of vice money getting nowhere on it. So it's just a bad idea. And this is actually interesting because now it puts me in the question of, I don't like the federalization of power. I mean, sorry, not federalization. I like federalization of power. I don't like the centralization of federal power. But in this case, it would be to allow something. So in an almost a libertarian way, I'm all for it.
Of course.
Freedom, baby.
Yeah, because
freedom. And he will limit the size of government because all those officers that are supposed to go after the online gamblers now don't have a job and have to fight real crimes like human trafficking.
Yeah. Well, the big thing too, you're bringing up kind of like the idea. It's kind of weird with online is if you make it illegal to play poker in a city, people will still find backroom games. But even then, like, you know, it's there, right? If you ban online poker in California, well, like they said, I could play on Costa Rican websites. And like, that's cool. But if they do something like cheat you out of all your money, there is nothing you could do about it. It's not like in America, for example, either way, I understand the laws. I can't go to a casino somewhere in America and have them literally cheat me, take all my money. And then if I prove it, I believe I can actually, I could sue them. I mean, that's what happens to some of these websites. It was proven that cheaters were on the website and they were sued. I mean, there's a very famous incident going on in poker right now with the guy who's cheating, and they're saying like they can get the DOJ involved and sue these people for facilitating this stuff. So again, though, end of the day, Andrew Yang is always pro consumer protection. I'm always for that. And he finds a way to find the kind of pain points of all these different communities and really motivate them. I mean, like I said, I was looking online for more info about this, and it seems like everyone that writes articles about gambling wrote an article about Andrew Yang endorsing, supporting. Like, I didn't think it was, like I said, that one video from the one gentleman who has a podcast, clearly very passionate about bringing online poker back. I honestly just thought, like, you could play online poker, and I didn't know it was a big deal, but I don't know if it's either really good research or Andrew Yang is the kind of person who can kind of look at the situation and be like, that's weird. Why is it that way? But, or people can come to it and he can kind of tell when he's getting a complaint that's what people really feel. But he's found a way to motivate another community and get another community activated for him. And that's just, like I said, best of both worlds. Community protection and Andrew Yang finding a way to get another community activated and motivated and interested when, again, no one talks about how you win the poker demographic.
Okay, so we got all the
Yang
pro
might
wrestlers.
be winning them. Yeah.
We got the NCAA athletes and the UFC crew. Now we're going to have the poker champs showing up.
Yeah,
that's going to be a wild watch party.
Yeah, Weezer.
That's going to be we got Weezer.
Who's next?
It's a motley crew in the Yang gang. Let
Nicolas
me tell
Cage.
you, baby. It's a motley crew. Nicolas Cage, yeah. We got to start calling him poker champ. Andrew Yang's poker champ now, because if he's not champion himself of the game because he knows how to play well with all of his math, counting cards, he's at least the champion for the game and champions the cause of freedom in poker, so he's still poker champ. So I think we just need to remix Lady Gaga's song.
Hey, freedom, America, poker, gambling, consumers, love it all.
Awesome. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video if you haven't already. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you guys in the next video.